On the coast of the Gulf of Guinea in West Africa, only a few degrees north of the equator, nestled between the Ivory Coast on the west, Burkina Faso to the north, and Togo to the east, lies the Republic of Ghana. After the Portuguese in the 15th century made contact with this West African country, trade in Ghana flourished in Europe. In 1896, the British conquered the territory and organized it, calling it the Gold Coast.
Citizens of the new state of Ghana gather for the celebration marking their Day of Freedom from colonialism. What was once the Gold Coast, a British colony, now becomes an independent Commonwealth. Vice President and Mrs. Nixon represent the United States at the three-day festivities. Native dances and games mark an event of historic importance.
In 1957, Ghana became the first sub-Sahara country in colonial Africa to gain its independence. With a population of more than 21 million, Ghana has remained a democracy with one of the most stable governments in Africa today. In 2000, Carol Gray, an Englishwoman, along with her team of volunteers, were invited by an international charity into Ghana and Liberia. Having witnessed the terrible emotional crisis to children from the wars in Sarajevo, Kosovo, and Bosnia, Carol founded the Hugs International, a charity in Great Britain created to assist the building of homes and schools for disadvantaged and orphaned children. During her visit to Ghana and Liberia, she observed the heart-rending plight of orphaned and sick children in many of the poorer rural areas that were ravaged by AIDS, HIV, malaria, and river blindness. And so, the story of Mmofra Trom begins. Mrs. Gray saw a need for homes, schools, sport facilities, and a medical clinic. She wanted a place where these needy children could live in families with a mother or auntie to teach, love, and train them in life skills. With her husband Stuart, Carol purchased 38 acres of prime rural land in the Somalia region, about 20 miles north of Accra, the capital of Ghana. This remarkable woman of extraordinary love and compassion, with a vision of making the world better, felt there was no task too arduous and no goal impossible. So with her English volunteers from Hugs and a committed group of Americans from Boston, they started the Mmofra Trom Center. Mmofra Trom translated means Children's Garden. Enthused by the scope of the mission of the project, Mr. Ajeti Olin and his wife Sarah agreed to join Carol in the building and directing of the Mmofra Trom Center. The first task was to lay out the site. As the contaminated river water was the cause of many diseases in this area, a well for fresh water was sunk and lined with concrete, allowing clean fresh water year-round. Another larger well was dug in the village of Trom that borders the school property. The incidence of disease has noticeably decreased. With Olin as the construction manager and Ghanaian carpenters and craftsmen, 2 homes were built in 2003, each housing 10 children and 1 or 2 adults. By 2006, building was well underway. A large outdoor African-style kitchen, dining room, a large pond filled with fish for meals and for sale to help with the expenses, and a regulation-sized soccer field. And after waiting 4 years, electricity reached Mmofra Trom. The classrooms are fully equipped, and first-class teachers are teaching on site. They were chosen for their high qualifications and excellent character.
The school has a total enrollment of 350 children, and the school has 12 classrooms with an average of 25 to 30 students in each class. Our goal is to serve 100 vulnerable children in the district. Presently, we have 50 of them, which forms about 20% of the total number of children we had wanted to serve. In order to achieve our target of 100 vulnerable children, we need to build more classrooms.
The student population is a mix of AIDS orphans, disadvantaged children, day students from surrounding communities, and boarders from distant areas of Ghana. The school registered 350 students this year, of which there are 50 disadvantaged non-paying students, some of them as permanent boarders. Presently, an additional 7 more classrooms are being built. A library will soon be completed. More housing for boarders needs to be constructed. Since 2006, Bentley University, a business school near Boston, has worked closely with the Mmofra Trom Center to contribute to its intention of becoming self-sustaining. Bentley faculty provides instruction on management, financial, and microcredit assistance. Students from Bentley live in Ghana and work as interns. Bentley students develop after-school programs at the school, such as the traditional crafts, sports instruction, and weaving. Eventually, literacy training will be given to the adults from the villages. Other facilities include a regulation-sized soccer field, a fish stock pond, a grove of 400 mango trees, 4 acres of corn, pens of chickens, grass cutters, goats, and others. The children help take care of the animals. The construction of a medical clinic for the school and surrounding villages will be the next large project. Land for the clinic has been purchased, which borders the school and is on the main road for the area.
The people of Trom spend money in curing malaria. So when our clinic is built, it's very likely they will come to our clinic because of the closeness of the clinic, and that money will definitely come to us.
The school is looking to become self-sufficient, paying their own way, at the same time providing free schooling for 100 vulnerable students.
As at now, we buy almost about 90% of the food we use. But with the farms that we have cultivated now, we believe would, from the beginning of next year, we will buy only about 70%. Because the corn we have can serve us for the next 2-3 years. It's huge, it's plenty. And that will reduce the cost of our food expenditure.
Carol Gray's vision of a beautiful site for Ghana's disadvantaged and orphaned children is well underway. The 38 acres of land and existing buildings, along with the equipment and vehicles, as well as the furniture, beds, and dining facilities, Mmofra Trom Center is well on its way to being an important part of the teaching and training of these young students towards becoming model citizens and tomorrow's leaders in Ghana. But more is needed. Additional housing for students, more classrooms, computers, and furnishing for the new classrooms, a new library, a medical clinic, and additional facilities for self-sustaining projects are all projected for the near future, and all this requires additional funding. You can be the one that helps finish this project and gives these children the break they need. Be a part of Ghana's future. Mmofra Trom Center, a setting for children to be loved, a place where they can learn to cope with what is ahead of them in life.